living off of debt. Now, it is important to understand that debt is not something that is in of itself impermissible, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sanctioned it and given rules to it. One of the issues that connects or that makes debt so dangerous is that it is a means to the destruction of brotherhood. When we owe someone money, that in of itself has the potential to destroy relationships. Which is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran towards the end of Surah Al-Baqarah, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu idha tadayantum bidainin ila ajalin musamma faktubuhu wa yaktub bainakum katibun bil 'adl. Allah Ta'ala, He says, O you who have believed, if you take on a debt to a certain time period, then write it down. And let the writer write it between you in justice. Because if I owe you money, even if you're not in need of it, right? Even if you're not in need of that money, then that can destroy the relationship. I'll give you one personal example. I moved to Houston in 2010, and things were really, really crazy. The Masjid, I get there, and there was nowhere for me to live. I had nowhere to live, and so my wife and I, all my children were young at the time, so I had all the children with me, had my mother with me, and we ended up having to move into a hotel room. You can imagine how stressful that could be with multiple kids, a wife, your mother. My mother is complaining, with all types of different complaints, and she had right to complain. Things weren't going how we thought they were going to go. And so I ended up having to borrow $400 from one of the doctors of the community. Because, again, lots of things didn't go how I wanted it to go. Obviously, when you first start in a new employment, you don't get paid for, you have to wait 2 pay cycles to start getting your first pay, and you get paid every 2 weeks. So that means that I had to wait a month before I got my first paycheck. So it was really, really, really a lot of things going on. Anyway, so the $400, borrowed the $400 from the doctor. And I think it was the month had went by. A month had went by, and the doctor went to the people in charge of the masjid complaining that the new imam hasn't given me my money back. And, it was astonishing to me that he didn't just come to me. I know the doctor's not in need of the $400. I mean, after some time, I got to know him very well. His financial status is, mashallah, right? But $400, and it rose to a level where it created this whole thing where I had to go into a meeting, I had to sit down in front of a tribunal, to resolve this whole. It became an issue, right? And my relationship with that brother was never the same. And so, I was just bringing that as an example to show how debt, it can destroy brotherhood, it can destroy relationships, which is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us rules and regulations on how to conduct ourselves. I know one brother, and there were 2 brothers. They were very, very close. Very, very close. One of them wrote a $50,000 check to the other one as a business investment or a loan. And so after a couple of years, the one brother who wrote the check said, I need my money back. Other brother said, well, the money's gone. So what you mean the money's gone? I said, yeah, it was a business investment. You were an investor. He said, no, that was a loan. I said, no, it was investment. No, it was a loan. And it rose to a level where they were arguing and shouting in the masjid. This was maybe a few years ago. And I was brought into it a few years ago, and it's still continuing to this day, to the point where now this brother who gave the money, him and his children don't pray in the masjid where that brother goes to anymore. The other brother on the other side, the one who took the money, he saw a person who he was close to giving salams to this brother, and he started yelling and cursing at him, right? All over what? All over money. And so Allah Ta'ala, He helps us to resolve these issues that with one simple command, and that is the command to write it down. And we should not allow our relationships to prevent us from doing what Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala said. So if I take some money from you or you take some money from me, then don't be offended if we say, listen, let's write this down. Don't say, no, we're okay, Akhi, we're okay. Allah said, oh, you have believed, when you take a debt to an appointed time, then write it down. The writing of that debt, taking witnesses, that will protect your rights, it will protect my rights. If you decide in the future to let the debt go, then that's fine, but that needs to be written down. It needs to be written down in order to preserve the sanctity of the relationships of brotherhood. Because we forget, things happen. You get older. Some of us who've gotten older a little bit now know that your memory is not the same like it used to be, right? You forget things. Things are distorted, right? Your memory isn't always as it, what you remember is not really always as it was. But writing things down, you can't deny it. When there's witnesses, you can't deny it. And so when we come to one another and we enter into business transactions or there's some type of debt that is owed, then we need to write things down. Even if it's something small, like $400. Write it down. This will protect you, protect me, protect us, and we won't have any arguing and fighting. And we won't be accusing people of their intentions, and our brotherhood will be intact and it'll be preserved. Now, as we said, it's very dangerous to live a life or take a methodology of debt as a means of conducting business. But if we have to take debt from one another, that is permissible to do so when there's a need to do so, but we have to write it down. And that writing will help us preserve the rights of everyone involved, and will respect the sanctity of brotherhood. But if we leave it without writing, we leave it to my memory or your memory, then it becomes what you say versus what I say. He said, she said. And then it becomes a really big mess. So we ask Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala to protect us, to preserve our brotherhood. May Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala protect us from debt. Ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to guide us. May Allah accept from us our good deeds and our righteous actions. May He overlook our faults and forgive us of our sins.